We're almost there. Hey guys, good evening, rock fans. This is Brad.
I'm Amy.
This is Mikey B.
This is Peoples.
And you guessed it, we are joined by Jaret Reddick of Bowling for Soup. Thanks for carving out some time to talk to us tonight.
I love the relaxed flow of this already. You're just
Oh,
I mean, I'm serious. Like, I don't smoke, but I'll eat an edible every once in a while. This seems like I'm missing the missed opportunity here.
right. Yeah, it was that pre-show shot that we all took to kind of set the mood, probably.
Yeah, we're like, we need to loosen up right now.
2 seconds before we went live. That's what I did.
Right.
How insane is this? And by the way, you'll notice that I do this a lot because I probably won't let you guys talk. But how serious is this? Oh my God, it's just me.
No.
How insane is it that we do this from our houses now? You know, like it's just bizarre. It like a year ago, we were just like, well, let's just all figure it out, you know? And so we just did. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. We've
been trying to figure it out for the last few months too. So
yeah, we really just started this a couple of months back after doing in-studio sessions and meeting in D-Bellum and having people over to Mike and Amy's place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a kind of a transition from a work Zoom meeting to evenings to doing this kind of stuff for fun. So
well, there you go.
Yeah. The world we live in.
Yep.
A lot of people are disappointed because we got pretty hammered in the studio.
That is accurate.
The people that were disappointed were Uber drivers that took our guest home.
Yeah.
I don't know why people would get uptight about that. I mean, we do Jaret Goes to the Movies in here every week. And it's by the time we go through all the mumbo jumbo, it ends up being about 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And how can you not be hammered after that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
and
Go ahead,
we're doing an hour, and in the beginning, I had to curb myself, or at least I was, observed or was told to say, you should probably curb yourself for an hour, dude. And so I'm very proficient. I am a bartender, so.
There was an adjustment period, is what he's trying to say.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm just really good at drinking beers, and because I've been training, for 30 plus years, and I that's an over exaggeration because I didn't really drink. When we started the band, I wasn't drinking, but it's really hard. I just find, it's like the more I drink, the longer the show goes on. So the podcast is not unlike a Bowling for Soup show. Just if we're not drinking, I can get it done in an hour and a half.
The more you drink, the better we're going to sound.
So the Jaret Goes to the Movies, that's a 3-hour time slot that you carve away for that. And how long do you carve away for the Rockstar Dad podcast?
So we're super our show Rockstar Dad comes out on Adobe Radio twice before it's a podcast. So we can go over our 55-minute time slot, but we just have to shoot for that. So normally what we do is we do about 3 hours every couple of weeks. So we'll do 2.5 shows. And then since we have guests, it's really easy. As long as we don't timestamp it, then we pre-record everything. But Jaret Goes to the Movies goes out on Twitch live. And so you can watch that, and then the podcast gets made from there. And so it's just kind of two different processes. But and also Gary and I do Rockstar Dad during the day. So when we first started, it was like, yeah, come over. Let's have some beers. We'll talk about it.
Let's be Rockstar Dads and hang out together and talk.
And it's like he's my on the road roommate, so we're not good at drinking together. And so, it kind of like came to one of those things where it's just like, man, maybe we just need to do this every once in a while because we're, you start recording at 11, you can blow the day pretty quick, but.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the other thing about that one is that we have guests that actually have lives, and so on Rockstar Dad we kind of have to get them in and out. A lot of times I'm conning them into an extra 20 minutes anyway. What I hope is, I promise, I'd like, hey, we just need like 30, but I hope the conversation goes so well they give me 50. But I'm not a dick about it.
Kind of along the same lines.
Continue the conversation.
This is normally a 10-minute show here, Jared. I told you an hour because we thought you'd carry it for us. So.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll be honest, I didn't know I was going to be here an hour. So my trivia team is downstairs. Well, my wife is downstairs, and we play trivia like this now. So like everybody from the bar pre-COVID now is at their house, and the guy who ran trivia runs it from his house.
Oh, wow.
And it's the same thing, but I've got this whole setup to where I can tie it all in and we're on the same feed. And it's just, it's ridiculous, but
got a different setup in every room for every event.
Question will be fine.
I have to ask, is that a Chuck E. Cheese picture over your right shoulder?
Let me see. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so
hell yeah.
the reason that is,
how did he recognize that?
Well, you guys, do y'all know that I'm the voice of Chuck E. Cheese?
I have been talking about nothing else for the last half hour.
He said Chuck E. Cheese, and I was like, I got Phineas and Ferb. That's my knowledge.
Yeah, but there aren't 5 Phineas and Ferb albums on iTunes or Spotify like Chuck E. Cheese has. So
yeah. Well, there is good. I mean, I bet you the Phineas and Ferb stuff is way bigger, though. I mean, just
for sure.
Yeah,
because it was just so music. I mean, now though, we're cranking the Chucky content out a bunch, but yeah, that was a cool thing right there. When I got hired to do the thing, I was just doing it. I've been Chucky now for about 9 years, I think. And a friend of mine, called me up. No, he didn't call me because I don't answer the phone. So I guess he texted me or emailed me. And he said, hey, I'm printing off these Chuck E. Cheese posters for the new stores, and they had gotten the account. So like as all the stores were changing the look, and it was real gradual. So for a while it was pretty weird. It was like I wasn't on the sign, but I was like on the TV, but then the guy that dressed up like me wasn't me. And it's really complicated because they changed the whole mouse when I got that gig. And so yeah, he would he got those things. Anyway, he sent me that thing and it was super cool. I used to have 3 of them. But now I have so many gold records, I don't have room.
Oh, I'm sorry about your hard life.
That's a tough problem to have.
And a Maserati that goes 185.
I wish. I got famous in the 2000s, man. I was about 3 years too late for that.
Oh man, story of my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. All right, so let's talk a little Bowling for Soup. So you mentioned gold records. I'm assuming some of those are Bowling for Soup hanging on the wall there. Unless you've got a Chuck E. Cheese gold record, and then I am going to be totally starstruck and flabbergasted.
No Chuck E. Cheese. I have a I have a couple of movie ones. I've got like Freaky Friday, and I think there's another one. But I also have like Now 17 and Now 13, and then it's all of it's Bowling for Soup related though.
Yeah.
Couple of
Amy was looking at your Wikipedia page before.
Yeah, there's I didn't know that you played yourself in Crossroads with the Britney Spears.
Yeah, totally.
Movie.
I did. Well, not only that, I played myself and I taught the Anson Mount, the actor, how to play guitar, and at a really crappy Days Inn that we were put up in. And so he came over from the Beverly Hills Hotel. I had to get out of the pool where we had plenty of beer, go up to the room and teach this guy how to play guitar. And there's 4 total in that song, but I really only taught him the 3 because we were only doing one section of the song.
See, that's musician talk. I got.
Yeah, I see what you did there, Mikey.
I also got it.
We've got our own rock star dad on the station here, Mikey B. So wasn't long before I knew he'd jump in there.
Yeah.
So let's go back. When did Bowling for Soup start? Was it 94?
Bowling for Soup started in '94.
How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, we basically, Chris ran this coffee shop. I mean, man, I've told this story so many times that I like it. It's like, I don't know like whether I'd go like really deep into it or not, but I mean, basically Chris ran this coffee shop. All of us were in bands that played around in Wichita Falls, Texas. And we all met playing in other bands. And, it was never, like, nobody really had the dream. I was kind of done. I was in college and I actually owned my own business at the time. And, barely getting by, but, I was content. It was just like the band thing was a chance just to not get in trouble whenever I had downtime and stuff. And so, yeah, those bands kind of just disbanded at the same time.
See what you did there.
And together we came, and so, yeah, we've been together 27 years. We just celebrated our 27th birthday. And,
Wow, congratulations.
Started there. And again, at first it was just kind of for fun. And then a couple of years in, I was like, man, I mean, I sort of think we've got something here. And I was tired of responsibility. I had 2 college degrees and 3 failed companies. And so I was just like, if you guys trust me, I think we can go for this. So I moved down to Denton, and, the rest, as they say, is history.
Wow.
Or Mr. Gaddy's Basement.
Mr. Gaddy's Basement, our very first show in Denton, actually.
I was there.
No kidding. Yeah. That was that's crazy, by the way. And to make it even wackier, my daughter just took her senior pictures on the town square, and we went over there and took a photo of the 2 of us in front of that building, which is, that's Bowling for Soup's first Denton show. And here's my daughter graduating from high school, and she's the first Bowling for Soup baby. And, a lot of special memories there on that square.
Well, I tell you this, Jaret, we, I was just a little 16-year-old, kid, and I would ride with Brian and Chris Cruz because they were in the Vims.
Oh yeah,
and I know that you guys did a dual CD together, and I still have that CD, by the way. That, like, Mr. Gaddy's Basement, we were throwing, because the Vims were known for throwing things at them, and I think that went into what whenever you guys played, we were throwing cups of ranch and pizza crust and just good times, back in the mid 90s, early 90s. And man, I couldn't tell you, there's so many stories in Denton and that square, and then over at Rick's place, but of course that place burned down twice and then changed its name. And
well, back to Mr. Gaddy's thing. Yeah, our first, again, that will make you fall in love with the city, right? We were, playing there for the first time, and we had met the Vims actually playing in Dallas, and they were from McKinney. So it was this, Wichita Falls band, this McKinney band, merging into this town where music was really a thing. And that was a lot of the appeal, was that food fight that night, was just, man, despite the fact that, I probably still have crushed red pepper in that amp.
Spicy.
And that was part of the appeal. And then, as you said, Rick's, things happen for us quick in that town. A lot of people are like, why do you guys say you're from Denton? You from Wichita Falls? And I will just say, look, we grew up in Wichita Falls, but here's the thing, man. We got to Denton, and that town just wrapped its arm around us, and it was crazy. We played Rick's one time opening up for Beef Jerky, the next time opening up for Hagfish, and then I think by the next time, our third time, I think we were headlining, and there was no looking back. At that point, if you were, can we cuss on here?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
At that point, if you were king shit in Denton,
Yep.
You could get Dallas bands to come here and play with you, and then you could go play there in Dallas.
Yeah.
So it was a bigger version of what I was already doing to get Bowling for Soup on the map. Is that we had built this following in Abilene and San Angelo and Corpus Christi and Amarillo and Lubbock, where none of these Dallas bands were getting out and going to those towns. So what we started doing was trading shows. Be like, look, we can bring 500 people in Abilene, because we were already lying and saying we were from Dallas, and go in there and be like, yeah, I had a fake identity. I'd like call, this is Jeb Ryan from Fro Records. And
I totally remember that.
I got a band. Yeah. Got a band coming through this weekend, and need a place to play, and they would just bite. And then people would show up in those towns because be like, there's a band from Dallas coming here, guys. This is crazy. And then we'd lie about where we lived and shit. And so, yeah, I mean, all of that.
Close enough. You were close enough to Dallas. It
There was
counted.
no internet.
Exactly. Once Denton, had us, we were good, because we could say we were from Denton. And then if somebody would say, where is that? You'd be like, it's North Dallas. And, it was all good. But yeah, that relationship was super crucial in the development of our band, as us and the Vims, because, that again, they're the ones that took us to Denton for the first time. A big part of like why we were hanging out there all the time and stuff like that. And then, but you should keep that CD forever. There's only 1,000 of those that exist, and they broke up before it came out. So they just passed their 500 out for free at Fry Street Fair.
Yep.
So most of them probably ended up in trash cans.
Oh yeah, I know right where it is. I should have. It's actually at my parents' house, and I should have brought it to show everybody. But I'll take a picture and post it.
There you
what's up
go.
with that, bro?
A lot of things been going on last week, but yeah, and it's great how many memories that me as a not only a fan but as a friend growing up, with you guys, you're a few years older or whatnot, but to see the success that you guys have taken on and just blown up. And it's like you did a little video for one of my friends for their daughters, and for around Thanksgiving. And, it's really cool that, you as a human being, as busy as you are, you find some time to say, hey, you know what? I got some new fans, and I'm going to say hello to them. And that just tells me what kind of human being you are. And that's why, I love Bowling for Soup. I love you guys, and,
Thanks,
as people. So
At the end of the day, I get asked that quite a bit. It's like, because I am like that. I tend to go out of my way to do anything and everything that I can. It's within reason. And, but it's like, to me, it's pretty cut and dry. It's like, if people stop asking, then we're irrelevant. And once we're irrelevant, then, that's it. And so here we are, 27 years in, and I am actually not making this up. We play to bigger crowds now than we ever have. We're doing soccer arenas in the UK now. We just sold out Lava Cantina and the Colony, the fastest sellout they've ever had. And they have Snoop Dogg come there, like it's so things are just, I think people that grew up with us now have kids that like us, and there's 2 and 3 generations of people that are coming, and now you've got a guy who used to bring his daughter, and now they're bringing an 8-year-old grandkid to the show, and it's like, this is what it's all about. One of the big things about us that worked really early was, and we used to hear this all the time, was that we were that band that parents and their kids would agree on, where it's like, parents didn't want to listen to Metallica and kids didn't want to listen to, Don Henley, but everybody could agree on Bowling for Soup. And I mean, we literally had, again, I'm kind of going down a different path than what you were talking about, but, like parents, like in tears going, I literally had nothing in common with my child until we found your band. And it's like, I try to just always have that in the back of my mind and know that, like, anytime I meet somebody, like, I know how I've felt every time I've met somebody that I would consider famous. And you just don't forget that. So you kind of get that one chance not to be a dick. And, which my other rant is that it's okay if it is a dick. Maybe they're just having a bad day, and you never know what's with the flu and all of that. I just fake like I don't have the flu like a fucking human being.
And we appreciate that. So you mentioned the UK. You guys have got a tour going back there in 2022. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, the UK has been really great to our band. I mean, quite frankly, if had we not, had a few things not happened right, the band would have stopped, or at least not had the successes that we had in the early 2000s. Because we started in 94, we signed a Jive in 2000, and then we started going over the UK. And the bitch song went to rock radio here in the United States. And if you're from Dallas, then you remember that song as being a hit because it was everywhere. But really, quite frankly, countrywide, it didn't do anything. But the video got some pretty crazy legs and was played on Radio 1 in the UK. And so that country support was kind of like the second Denton to us. It was like, okay, so now this whole country is just going to embrace us. And it's sort of just been like that. I mean, we do the same numbers in a town there. That country is, you can fit 3 of them in Texas. And, we do the same numbers as we do in the US. So, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, they've been amazing to us, and, continue to support. And again, like I said, our crowds get bigger. We plateaued for a bit, just after the turn of 2010, 2011, and we kind of slowed down for a minute, and then, got our shit together, and now, bigger and better than ever. Literally, for some of us.
I'm feeling it.
Right there with you, brother.
Jaret.
So we were joking about this. Go ahead.
I just started this diet, and I'm doing really good on it. So the making fat jokes about myself feels really funny because used to I'd make a fat joke about myself, open a beer, grab a piece of pizza, and it was like, okay, well now I feel way better about it again, and now I'm like, I've got 400 calories left, but they've got to be in this certain category, for the day. And it's not beer or pizza, and so maybe it's not as funny to me anymore. I don't know, but maybe it is. It probably is. Yeah, I know.
It most likely is.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen you in years, and I was at a spot in the colony here where I live, and you and your wife were there, and I hadn't seen you in a long time, and when I went to hug you, I was like, "Am I hugging Chris right now?" But then I was like, hey, I hadn't seen you in 10 years,
Yeah.
But
Awkward.
But hey, man, we all get old. I'm
going to be honest. I'm not sure where you thought you were heading with that story. If I'm being not
really sure. Know where he was heading with that story.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's like you're when I gained my weight pretty quick. I went and kind of spiraled out of control into this insane depression and sort of locked myself in a room and just drank and ate and basically just took care of the things that I needed to do in my life and neglected everything else. So my kids and my dogs were great. Everything else went to shit, including my band. But during that time, I gained some weight pretty quick, and then so when we came back. And we were doing and this is I guess 2013 or so, and we were doing a video for this song Catalyst, and like one of the first comments was like, the Bowling for Soup I know only had one fat guy. It was like,
oh, that's fucked up.
Right. And it's like, well, to be fair, I had my years, but Gary and I were really never skinny. I don't know.
Wait a minute, I remember the skinny Jaret in 1994.
Skinny Jaret was fucking miserable, by the way. That Jaret was like, hadn't had a carb since 1984.
I think you should write a song about it.
I think you got your next hit.
Yeah, I was going to go with 1985 there, but we missed the chance.
Yeah, it didn't rhyme with preoccupied.
Right.
There you go. We were talking about this before you joined. It's the 20th anniversary of Drunk Enough to Dance next year. How is that possible?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's. Well, I mean, we were on a roll there for a long time. New record every 2 years, and so it seems weird that will be that'll be 20. No, next year, and then 24 will be our 30th birthday and the 20th anniversary of Hangover. Jeez. And so we actually all just did this huge show. We did this show last week for our birthday, as I said earlier. And then the next day I built a swimming pool during COVID, and it in no way is that a flex. It was literally done out of necessity because my child had nothing to do and nowhere to go, and other people had pools, and it was like, I'm going to just figure this out because we can't go outside. It's 118 in July.
Right.
So you made her dig a pool?
So I made, my wife did it. Yeah. It's okay. My mom helped. She's 74.
I'm just seeing Encino Man going on right now. Dig your own pool.
Put her back.
No, but I built this swimming pool, and we've just got in it in Easter, and for the first time on Easter, and so the crew all stayed an extra day, and the Dolly Rot stayed an extra day, and our manager stayed an extra day. Then we invited all of our old crew guys, and everybody just came over, and we had a crazy day. But that was after 3 pretty big nights of prep, and then the show, and then that, and so I'm still hungover, if I'm being completely honest, from Sunday, and it terrifies me to think about our 30th anniversary and also the 20th birthday,
the fallout of that.
Yeah. But no, I do look forward to those kind of things because when we did our 25th anniversary, we did a whole weekend where there was events Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in Dallas, and so the plan is to do that again. And here I am already looking to our 30th. We just finished 27.
Tell us about that show. I heard you had a little rainstorm come through there at some point.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, that it's covered, but not really. It's we were fine. I mean,
we were dry.
I told Rob, I told Rob, our bass player, I go, yeah, I keep forgetting it's raining, and he goes, look at all the people, and I go, yeah, no, I still do that thing where I look over their heads, I don't know. I'm thinking about other shit.
27 years and I'm still looking past them.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just looking right over them. It's like,
look at that point above their head.
The minute I look at somebody, I'm like, why is he staring at my ear? What the fuck? So no eye contact.
Something about Mary going on.
Yeah, right.
Jeez. So I have a question.
Okay.
Have you guys been approached about doing anything on vinyl?
Yeah, so we've actually done vinyl in the past. In fact, we did Let's Do It for Johnny. We did a limited run on vinyl, and that was back in 2000. And then we've done vinyl on several things since then. We just did a live album, live from Brixton in the UK 2 years ago, and that came out on vinyl. So you start to see a little bit more of that. The biggest thing is that the records that people really want on vinyl, we don't own. And so you're really going to have to kind of wait for a re-record, like a greatest hits or something, to get those songs that you want, because we can't just press any of the jazz. Anything 2000 to 2009, we don't own. So it would be a licensing thing. And quite frankly, they're Sony now. They don't want to mess with us. They don't, like us coming and being like, hey, we just thought it'd be cool if we press up like 800 vinyls. They're going to be like, yeah, we're fucking Erykah Badu or whatever the fuck, and so, yeah. But anyway, the answer to the question is yes. And I think we will do it again. And again, we just did for Live at Brixton. And then Fishing for Woos. There's always some vinyl out there.
Right. I'll have to dig around and see what I can find.
Bowlingforsoup.com and click store.
Oh, well, I did not see it on the site. Did you see it there, Mikey?
I didn't see the vinyl. I saw a lot of other stuff that we were putting in our cart. The koozies,
the puzzles are
shirts, the puzzles.
I want one of every puzzle.
You've made a lot of sales in the last hour and a half here.
The apron is at the top of the list for sure.
Because of COVID, we were all kind of stuck at home, and at one point I told Mikey that we should get a puzzle, and he was like, no, we're not going to be those people that get puzzles. And now that I see the bowling for soup, I wish we would have had that, because I bet I could have convinced him to stay at home and do a puzzle.
I got you here. Let's see.
Here
you go.
I mean, honestly, that whole thing kind of happened out of necessity as well. Look at that vinyl.
There it is. There it is.
So
you see it?
That's the new record. That's Live at Brixton. That's the newest album. That is
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Found it.
Modern technology.
This is crazy.
That is also Drunk Enough to Dance played in its entirety.
Nice.
Drunk Enough
to
Dance.
You better put that
and
in your cart.
all of our live shit is really live. Like, we don't come back and overdub it all. So
what you get?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that other bands do that, but they do.
But you didn't say that.
But I'm saying.
You didn't say that. Oh my gosh.
All kinds of stuff here, just so everybody sees it. I mean, they have everything. Puzzles.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have face
Goes
pads, they've
on
got
and on.
puzzles, they've got
There's a
aprons.
Here's
spinner.
the apron. You got to get in on
Koozies.
that.
Fidget
Koozies.
spinner.
I'm digging this skull Christmas sweater too that you mentioned, Mikey.
Yeah, that's on my Christmas list, just in case y'all. All kinds of stuff.
Oh man. God, so much merch. That's awesome.
Those things that you just saw right there were we sometimes record every show. So those ones,
that's what that is.
You can go down there and you can digitally, like, you'd be like, I was at this show and I want to get that. Or like, if you want to see if our jokes are better the night before or something like that, you can,
That's
you
cool.
can have that stuff. But, like, because we try not to recycle, we don't rehearse the show and like try to make it into like a Broadway production or whatever. So you do get different jokes every night, which is, that's worth however much.
Hello, Houston. Oh wait, we're in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as funny.
So what's
Why
funny
has
about
it got to be
the-
Houston?
Right?
Because that would be one of the closer towns to Dallas.
Okay.
You would think that most people know that that's not true, but this happens all the time. Hey, Jaret, I'm coming to Texas. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm going to be in Houston on Friday night. You want to hang? So I go, no, you might as well be in fucking Colorado.
That's a fact.
It is a fact. This is in New Jersey,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, people
Anywhere in Texas could be at least an hour away plus.
just to get
Right.
Fort Worth to Dallas is an hour away.
Yeah. Here where I live in North Dallas. I live in Prosper, so I'm between McKinney and Denton, and then Dallas is right there. And then, and then Fort Worth is just kind of there. So anytime anybody asks me how far something away is, I say it's 45 minutes, and they'll go, well, how far is this other thing? How far is Penstack? 45 minutes.
45.
Everything is 45 minutes away.
How far is Dave and Buster's? About 45 minutes.
47 minutes. Yeah.
Literally everything is 45 minutes.
How far is American Airlines? About 45 minutes.
And
Give or
depending
take.
on the time of the day, it could you could add an hour to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's I guess traffic's coming back. It's been pretty nice though.
Oh, so
man.
nice.
Oh man.
Getting my kid, my 15-year-old goes to school quite a distance from me because he lives half the time with his mom, and he goes to that school district. So when he's here, that commute is something else. And so it's been pretty crazy that North Texas Tollway just being empty at 8:00 in the morning. But
That's great.
That will not be like that come next school year.
That's a
No.
fact. That is a
No.
fact.
All right, I got to ask the question. Where did the name come from?
Well, if I told you, I would have to kill you.
That's fair. I'm 45 minutes away.
That's a good joke right there. Good job, Brad. Good one. Man. All right. I'm just not going to be a dick. Normally, I would say Google is your friend.
Yeah, it is. It is. I wanted to hear it from you.
Because Brad, you already asked me how we formed and now the name, and we've been together 27 fucking years.
I know.
And we allowed you to say fuck on this station.
I wanted to hear it from you. I can pull it up
understand.
and read it.
I understand. Let's okay. The name, it's pretty easy actually. The problem with telling the story is it's not as cool as you think it's going to be. You know, like it's once I deliver it, you're going to be like, oh. That's it.
Well, if I promise to tell you a funny story about your band name, will you tell us the origin of your? Okay, that's
I would
the deal.
tell you anyway.
I got a funny story that goes along with your band name. So you go first.
So it's pretty simple, actually. We were looking for band names. My band, I had Lance, our original drummer, was in a band with me. And then Chris and Eric were in a band together as well. But my band was playing our final show. Our bass player at the time was moving down here, and we were already in talks with Eric and Chris to form Bowling for Soup. And like the idea was out there or whatever. But so Lance didn't cuss. And so we used to love Steve Martin and his albums and all stand-up comedy, really. And so on Wild and Crazy Guy, he talks about this television show he's working on called Bowling for Shit. Well, when Lance was like, hey, come see our new band, Bowling for Soup. Again, that's just what came out. So it was this joke, and it wasn't even a really good joke because it was a play off of a thing, and he didn't even say the right thing because he didn't swear. And so, anyway, honestly, what happened was that was kind of just this running joke because I could fuck with him about it and be like, yeah, go, what you want to be, Crap the band, yeah, and so we started to think of other names, and one of the names that we bounced around was Rubberneck. And as you guys know, being from here, the Toadies released an album called Rubberneck in 1994, just as we formed, and so it just kind of we booked our first show as Bowling for Soup and kind of forgot to change it.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
Those ones though, man, where it's funny to see people get it, but then once it's in your head, you can never forget it.
It's Steve Martin, for crying out loud. Like,
yeah,
that's
way better than Cuba Stank,
I mean, that's true.
Yes. All right, Amy.
So my funny story. So I told one of my regulars that we were interviewing you, and he was like, "Oh, I know that band." He was like several years ago. I'm pretty sure he said Vegas. But he was like, I saw the sign that said Bowling for Soup, and the said guy works at a lot of bowling centers throughout America. He's worked in San Diego. He's worked in Dallas. He's worked several places. So he saw Bowling for Soup and thought that it was like a benefit.
Yeah.
For like a soup kitchen.
A fundraiser for a soup kitchen.
And so he was like, okay, cool. And he said like the ticket wasn't that much. He was like, oh, that's a good cause. Like that sounds great. I'll buy it. So he pays whatever the $50 or whatever it was to go to the show. And he goes in, sits down, he sees y'all, and y'all are, the comedy aspect of y'all. And he's like, okay, these guys are funny. And it wasn't until like halfway through the show, whenever he finally heard a song that he recognized, that he was like, oh, this isn't a benefit. This is a band. Just
and the fact that there were no bowling alleys around had nothing to do with it.
That's such a thing. I mean, like it's, the funny thing about that deal is, again, and it's so, it's one of those things where like I don't ever want to sound bitter, but you do sort of get to this point where you're like, come on, you know what I mean? But like the thing, we're called Bowling for Soup, and it's like after about 15 years, when the radio guy comes up and he goes, guys, I've got this idea, and I bet you've never done this. What if we do a food drive at a bowling alley, so people will actually
play,
and you guys will play a show and will actually be bowling for soup or whatever. And you'd be like, well, I would have never thought of that. And people are like, really? Promote this guy, but
there goes the rest of my questions, guys. You guys are gonna have to carry it from there.
That's my favorite one ever, though, is one time it was our CD release party for I think Tell Me When to Woe or Rocket on Ones. One of the first 4 that we did on our own before we got on Jive. And it's one of those things you just don't notice it until you see it. And I still have a photo of it, but the guy who wrote the sign was like, tonight only, blowing for soup, and it was right there on the marquee,
You
And,
totally different crowd for that party, don't you?
yeah, exactly. I mean, they were really hungry, Brad.
Oh, I had no doubt. No doubt.
Just so hungry.
I mean, really, really hungry.
Boys gotta eat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We have done some cool ones of those before. I mean, it's funny. The bowling thing, it's sort of ran its course where it's like at one point we stopped doing bowling pins and bowling balls merch and things like that. But we do have it tattooed on us. It's like you can't really run away from it because it is in the name and it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, as we started to get older, and it was like, radio stations, and I always go to this because that's where the promos happen, right? And but it'd be like, hey, Gary's arm is hurting. He's been playing drums now for 21 days straight, and Eric's knee isn't doing well, and so they're going to sit this one out, and you got these radio guys going, no, I was promised the whole band will be bowling with fans or whatever, and it's like, I don't think you heard me. He can't move his arms. And so I think I think it was in Knoxville one year, a program director just threw a huge fit, and then the label promotions guy got all pissed at us and stuff. And I just said, okay, then no more bowling promos. But, I don't know. It kind of sounds fun now,
So everybody has some type of bowling for soup tattoo. Who has the most embarrassing bowling for soup tattoo?
Well, me and Chris got the first ones. So ours are pretty faded and bad. Gary, he got his a couple of years after us, so his is really good. Eric, and Lance both have theirs. They're not in the band anymore, but Rob will get one soon, and his will be badass because it's going to be new, and they really are good at tattoos now in the world. But yeah, we have, I think me and Eric have 5 in common, and the band itself, we have 4, and then we have 2 more that we're getting. We're going to get a 21st and we got 21. We're getting a 25 year tattoo, so that we're getting that this summer. We're a couple years behind, obviously, so we got some catching up to do. It started like with with metal bands when I was a kid. They'd all everybody'd pull their arm sleeve up and they'd all have the band's logo on there and
some CFH.
Like, let's not get that. Let's not get the band's logo, but let's get something that reminds us of the greatest times of our lives, and so we've kept doing that. And it's like I said, me and Eric, back in the days, we were just so bored all the time, and we were playing in pubs for tips, back before we pretty much were on tour all the time. And we just wake up. You want to go get a TX on the back of our elbow? And let's do it.
Definitely.
Mikey's on board. It's just TX whiskey is what he would get.
Exactly.
Right there.
Exactly.
That's the thing, right? It's like anytime somebody is just like, hey, would you ever get this tattooed on you or whatever? Like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Nobody's ever going to see it. Like, there's so
cares?
many of them now. They're just all one big thing, like it's all lost in there. So,
I know. I went to go get a tattoo one time. And there was a guy in there getting his ass tattooed, and every friend he ever made, he had them sign his ass, and then they get that tattooed. So his ass was just a bunch of his friends
covered with his ass.
Whole bunch of signatures on his ass.
That's a good one. That's
I'm not giving you any ideas.
Something to consider.
Yeah, Mike's band has their logo on their various parts of their body. But it's an eyeball that it's very incognito of, like, it could stand for the band, it could also stand for something else. There's one member that has the band name right on his chest.
Yeah.
And he was in the band for many years, and then he quit for many years. Now he's back in the band, so it's less awkward. But that whole time period that he was not in the band, he just had right on his chest plate the band name when he wasn't in the band.
Yeah, right.
So it could always be really bad.
It could be worse.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a lot of Bowling for Soup tattoos out there, so I'm hoping we haven't disappointed those people yet.
Well, I gotta find that CD with Bowling for Soup and the Vims, because that I need to get tattooed on somewhere on myself.
Because you have a favorite fan tattoo? Is there?
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if anybody even knows what it looks like. Jaret, do you remember what it was?
Yeah,
it looks like?
But it's a sketch. It'd be really, really intricate to get that. It was
it's the jail cell buddies.
Well, the jail cell is Chris did that one. That's just the Vims mascot and a he's chained to a
pin. Yeah,
bowling pin. Yeah. That would be cool. That would be. Chris would probably redraw that up for you too. Chris Cruz from the Vims plays in a band with Lance, who used to be in Bowling for Soup now.
Down in New Brunswick?
Down in New Brunswick.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they would be watching this.
Crazy. Is anybody watching this? Let's be honest.
I mean, there's some people. Why don't y'all comment? I mean, we've had some comments.
I saw Bobby Finn put some comments, I think, on Mikey's share of it. I've seen several people comment. Yeah. Spike down in over in Abilene, rather. Man,
Abilene, we had some great days, man. I mean, that was kind of the San Angelo and Abilene right away. We started.
Right, we got somebody here. Travis Hill's watching. There you go.
So I really wasn't fucking with you guys. I was sure somebody was watching. I don't know. Earlier, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I topped the story of, getting hugged and,
that was the best.
Do you want us to cut that in post-production? Is that how
No, are you kidding me? That's the best part of this whole interview.
We're gonna use that as like the soundbite from this show,
right? That's our clickbait.
Here's the thing about that story. You didn't just hurt my feelings. You hurt Chris's feelings, and he's not even fucking here.
Yeah, but
it's kind of our go-to.
But you weren't there mentally. You were drunk when I hugged you. So, I mean,
here's the thing. That's just Tuesday.
Well, I think it was
that week-old iced tea.
I really think it was a Thursday.
Yeah,
I really think it was a Thursday.
It was. I'm just giving you shit, man.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I do. That's actually what I do for a living. If you've ever seen our band, this is pretty much my job.
You self-roast?
I do self-roast, but I do welcome hecklers, and it's probably not a good idea to be one at one of our shows, but
I would say the last time that me and Mikey saw you live was at the roast for Scott.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was fun. I was actually just talking to somebody about that the other day.
That was a fun night.
It was a great night, and the thing about that is I didn't know all of those people that I was roasting or introducing, and so I had a bit of a handicap, but that was a really, really fun night for sure. Somebody talked over my joke about Oliver, and it was such a good one.
That would have probably been I heard much later about a lot of jokes.
There's some Amy love. Some Amy love here.
A lot of stuff.
There are people watching just for Amy.
Hug story would have been better. Calm down, sir. Calm down, sir.
Yeah. Not that kind of.
Yeah, he already said I was drunk. Gee.
Right?
You're roasting our crowd. You said they weren't watching. They showed you.
My Aunt Julie had to come on and show you. She's watching.
Hi, Aunt Julie.
Hi, Aunt Julie.
Are you related to the Harville brothers from Sugar Bomb? Sugar Bomb?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
If Julie is, she's on my mom side of the family, so I don't think she is, but
all right. Well,
she'll comment here soon, and Mike will show us.
That was a fantastic band.
The sugar
of the white settlement cooks.
Accurate.
Right.
That is true. That is very true. So if
when
you don't
were
know
you?
a white settlement, it's Fort Worth.
I was just there Saturday. Almost took a picture of the sign. I was looking for Amy's statue, couldn't find it.
Oh yeah, it's weird that it's not there.
Yeah.
I'm not at that level yet. Y'all keep Deep Dallas Radio going. Maybe I'll get there.
Right. Let's keep heckling our fans. Let's build this up.
It's not like there can be that many, popular people from White Settlement.
That's true.
I'm trying to make a name for myself.
Jeez. So, Jared, how long have you been in Prosper?
Since 2014. I moved to, I was in Denton, and then I moved to Flower Mound and Highland Village with my ex in the around 2000, and then we got divorced, and my wife and I, Casey, my wife now, and I
Which
bought
is
a house.
super awesome, by the way.
She's the best.
She's
And
super rad.
but yeah, we it was a nice little change. Highland Village, it's just so hard to get anywhere. I mean, it was 45 minutes to get to the highway, and we just needed to just kind of spread our wings a little bit. So it's we're loving it up here though.
Nice. Well, I guess Mikey took a little break for us there, so we were going to talk about another rock star dad there, but tell me a little bit about this Goes to the Movie podcast. So what are you guys talking about? New releases, old movies, or y'all just sitting around drinking beer and having a good time?
It's kind of both. It's kind of all of that. I mean, a movie gets picked each week. It's either by a member of the cast or by a fan, or sometimes it's voted upon, they're just however they get picked, but they're classics, and they're 80s movies and 90s movies and new movies. And, we started doing, of course, Netflix and Amazon movies and things like that. So it runs the gamut of everything. For the most part, we try to do movies that, most people would have or have had a chance to see.
Relative.
Don't dig too deep, because the idea is, we talk about it chronologically as we're just talking about whatever. And so, you sort of visualize it in your mind and kind of just keep up with us. And that way you're in your car. And though it's a audio podcast, we play clips from each movie and you can hear those. And,
yeah, I tried to get Mike to listen to one of the podcasts with me, the Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, and he wouldn't. I could get him to listen to the Rockstar Dad podcast.
Yeah.
Just not the Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion.
That's actually a really good episode.
I love that movie.
Yeah. That episode is a really funny one. Because there's not a whole lot to talk about with that movie. So we go off the rails.
What was that? What was that old school show that they would have? It was the theater, and the guys would be watching it, and they'd be making
movie.
Mystery Science.
Science Theater. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, about 6 years ago, I lived in a house with a movie theater in it, and I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. I'm going to do a Mystery Science Theater 7,000 in my own place. And I mean, and I did, and I kind of commentated myself, for the first couple of times when I was a little inebriated, watching Goonies and Fifth Element, and stuff like that. But then I remember seeing something on like Facebook or something where it was, Jaret goes to the movies and whatnot, and I haven't seen any, or I haven't listened to any of the stuff yet, but I think we have a lot of the same sense of humor, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty rad.
Yeah, well, it is. It's doing really well. It's all fan driven, and it's supported completely by the fans and doing great. And Rockstar Dad has a pretty insane listenership, about 90,000 a week.
Wow.
Which is we actually have sponsors and things like that. So it's a bit of a different. It's just a completely different thing. They're both podcasts, but they're run as completely separate businesses and shows and that. But yeah, super fun to do. Yeah, if anybody wants to find out anything about what I do, you can just go to jaretreddick.com because there's a link to, like, if you want to see Chuck E. Cheese commercials or other commercials that I do, and then there's links to all of my bands that I'm in, and all the podcasts I do. And so yeah, just go there and follow me on the social medias, and I'll take pictures of my kids and show them to you. And
All right.
No, that's actually great. That's kind of how we usually wrap the interviews up at the top of the hour. So you just kind of fed right in, not with sharing pictures of our kids, but you kind of fed right into it.
I was
socials.
watching the clock because my trivia team is probably drowning down there without me. And so I was going when that
he
thing
needed to wrap it up, so
Yeah.
he was like, "I'm going to go ahead and give you where to find me, so I can."
Working
wrap
with
this up.
professionals here. I like it.
Here's where you can find me.
Does that say Dolly Braid?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
Dolly
great.
Braid.
Dolly Braid,
Back
nice.
together for one show
That's
with
phenomenal.
the Dixons at Trees, September 10th, and I'll be hosting that night. It's gonna be
Nice.
awesome.
I've got tickets to that show.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I will be not roasting the bands and saying very nice things. And it should
That's
be
the DFW Legacy Series 1 year anniversary. The guys that's putting out a bunch of the older
The
90s
vinyl.
bands on vinyl. So
Yeah.
I will be there. So let's let Jerry get down and rescue the day on trivia night. So we really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you guys. That was super fun, man. I'd love to do it again. And y'all, thanks for keeping music alive here in Big D.
Absolutely. Thanks
I
for all you do,
appreciate you,
sir.
brother.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.